This video is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes, you guys. Hire Heroes is your one-stop shop when it comes to virtual staffing and making sure that you have qualified talent with your business. One thing that I love about Hire Heroes, you guys, is they've actually gone through the process already of vetting and making sure that your staff member is well trained to best fit your needs. Whether you need help with social media work, posting things on your accounts, responding to people that send messages to your social media accounts, whether you need help with data entry or a multitude of other things that they're qualified to do, Hire Heroes has got you covered. If you're having trouble finding quality talent and number two, affording to be able to run payroll for that talent, Hire Heroes has got you covered with an affordable alternative to have a virtual assistant working for your business. There's a link down in the description of this video to where you can learn more about getting your own VA through Hire Heroes. I certainly recommend it. They're what we use in our business for all of our virtual assistant needs, and you will want to make sure that you check them out today.
What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful holiday week. I hope you're back in the office, but there's a good chance that a lot of you are not, which is what we're going to be talking about today.
You know, my son, and this kind of goes in line with what we're discussing, what we were just discussing before we went live as well. My son's birthday this year turned into like a birthday week. This what was supposed to be, you know, traditionally is a one-day event, right? A holiday, a birthday. It kind of got stretched. It was like, oh, well, you know, the family needs to see. We need to have a family party. And then it's like, oh, well, he really wants to go camping. So we went to the Redwoods. We went camping. And it's like, well, his actual birthday was on this day. So like we had another special thing for him. So it turned into this whole week. And you just said Memorial Day week. I just got triggered all over again. These individual holidays turning into these massive events, you guys. Summer slump. It's real. That's the title of this video. Summer slump.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this summer slump, right? Like, so what do you feel like is going on right now in terms of, because this is the time of the year, we see it every year, right? Where there are holidays that it's a stretch to call them holidays. And I'm not saying Memorial Day. I'm going to get cruised. That's not what I mean. But I mean like Juneteenth, sure. Right? Or like National Pets with Bow Ties Appreciation Day, you know, or like something like that.
Columbus Day, right? Which I think they even changed the name of Columbus Day. I mean, you could go down the list. I think everyone agrees that there are major holidays that must be taken off, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter,
Memorial Day.
I mean, there's probably 5 major, and I'm not trying to diminish any of these other holidays, and I don't want to offend anybody either by diminishing these other holidays. I'm looking at this from the work perspective. And obviously, too, I think it also goes without saying, if you do have the means to take the time off, if you've been working for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you're at a point where you really earn that time off, you want to take a whole week off, Memorial Day week, by all means, I think you should. The problem lies with the folks who haven't earned that right, who still choose to take that week off. That's where things get dicey. And that's what I want to talk about is, why are brand new agents who have only been in the business for 2 or 3 years, who don't have the residuals built up, who don't have the book of business, they're not established, why are they taking a week off when they should be working?
I love this topic of conversation, right? So when I think about myself, right, we were having this conversation before we jumped on. So I went to Vegas over the weekend, got absolutely killed. For lack of a better explanation, you guys don't need to know the details, but
the bank account is busted at the Brindle house.
I'm back at work because I have to. But
somebody's got to fund these casinos.
Yeah, but anyway, so I was off Monday, Memorial Day. My office was closed. I gave my employees the day off, which, you know, that's something we normally do anyway. Some of these major holidays we do paid holidays off for our team members. But then, so next week's the summit. So I'm back this entire week, Tuesday on. Next week is the summit. The following week, I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. So I'm gone for 2 weeks, right? I'm in year 10 of building. I have never taken a 2-week vacation with my family ever in my entire career. This is the first time. Now, am I extreme? Am I neglectful parent? Am I, am I, would a shrink just absolutely have a great time with me, therapy heroes the therapy heroes? Probably so. However, my business has gotten where it is because I'm freaking there. And and what the term we talked about before we jumped on was I paid my dues.
100%. And I think if you really want, I think, as a Medicare agent, obviously a lot of times that's what does your monthly renewal income look like, right? That's kind of an easy baseline for, are all of your needs easily going to be met for the next several months, whether you work or not? That's kind of like a really, if you're trying to figure this out, right? If you're trying to figure out like, am I in the category where it's totally fine for me to take a week off? That would be like a baseline, basic question that you can ask yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can I take the next several months off, and are all of my needs and expenses still going to be met? Is my business going to be okay? And if you can answer yes to that, then absolutely take the week off, enjoy it, celebrate the holiday, go camping, get out there, enjoy the summer. But, the majority of agents, like we've talked about before many times, Christian, they only sell 4 applications a year. That's the reality of Medicare. The average Medicare agent is 4 apps a year. So the majority of you don't check that box. It's not even close to the majority of you. 90% of you cannot check that box morally, ethically. So that's where I get upset. And again, as somebody who offers leads, marketing, administrative services to agents, I see firsthand, you guys, I see the emails come in. Please put my leads on hold. Please, I'm going to be out of town. And it's just one after another. So that's where the summer slump comes in. That's where, and it's easy to do it now, but when you guys get to the end of December this year and you're looking back and you're thinking, damn, I wish I could have done another 50 apps this year. Right?
That might be why.
How many agents do you think are doing that? Right?
I think a lot. I think a lot.
Maybe because you took the whole summer off, because you told yourself, I'll wait till AEP to start selling again. I sold during OEP. I did maybe a little bit after OEP. Summer's here. Kids are out of school. The weather's nice. Memorial Day happens. And then all of a sudden, I'll do my certs. And then I'm going to start selling again in October. Like, that's wild to me.
I saw a quote a week or two ago from Alex Hermosi, and I think I posted in the Facebook group, said, being extraordinary is doing ordinary things an extraordinary amount of times.
100%.
And I think that level of consistency is really the name of the game. I think everybody wants like the thing that's going to be that's going to make their career take off. And really what it is it's just continuously putting yourself in a position to be successful and being in a position where you can be available to capture opportunities when they fall in your lap, right? I'm not saying, and I don't think neither one of us are saying that you shouldn't take a vacation in summer with your family. That there's nothing wrong with it, but like if you're 6 months in, probably aren't there yet. If you're a year in, you probably aren't there yet. And if you're 3, 4, 5 years in, even for me, I'm not taking the whole, majority of the summer off. I've got a business to run. I got a conference to run. I got big deals, big moves taking place. I couldn't do that. And so
really fast, I want to give a shout out to Becky Reel as well. She did
love Becky.
She just did an event. I saw the pictures of an event. It was a client appreciation dinner. Oh my God. What a fantastic opportunity during the summer slow time that you could be doing. Like, there's so much stuff that you guys could be working on right now, even if you aren't selling. That I thought that was fantastic. So I did want to give her a quick shout out while I was thinking of it.
Shout out Becky, one of the best in the business. love me some Becky Real and Keith and everything they're doing, up there in Pennsylvania. I really think, guys, that if you look at some of the really successful people in our space, and you can pick a name, whichever one tickles your fancy. If it's tickle, my daughter right now is in this phase where she'll come up and she'll like start going like this. She doesn't know how to tickle, but she'll poke me in my sides and she'll go, a tickle, a tickle. And I'm like, that's not how you tickle. This is how you tickle. And I'm just like, but anyway, it's one of those things where you can pick any name, any name that kind of you think of when you think of someone really successful. You could think of Becky. Becky's in that category. You could think of myself. You could think of a lot of people. You could name a name. You could basically list the roster of speakers that are going to be in Salt Lake City next week. All of them work year round and put in that time, right? Like if there's somebody that, let's say, has been in the business forever, they did an integrity deal, they sold their business for huge amounts, but their operation is big, it can run without them. You might see someone like that traveling a lot, but they earned it. Their
100%.
business is still thriving without them even being there because they have the infrastructure. They have pieces in place. A lot of you guys are just you. And if it's not just you, it's one person helping you, that kind of thing. Maybe it's you and your spouse. It's again, vacations are fine, but my average family vacation, even the past couple of years before this one I'm taking in a few weeks, was a holiday weekend, like my Vegas trip. I wasn't gone for weeks at a time. I'm even afraid to leave for 2 weeks in a few weeks. I'm like, I'm getting anxiety about it. I'm like, oh, this is a bad idea. Maybe I should cut this. Maybe I should cut this from 2 weeks to 3 days. 2 days.
Honey, you can stay here. I'm gonna fly back early. Just check on things.
I'm a little afraid right now, but yeah. I mean, I think everybody wants the six pack, like the guy with the six pack, but not everybody wants to sit in the gym and do crunches every day for 4 years.
That's 100% it. What was the Alex quote you said? There was something I wanted to say.
Alex Hormozy. So Alex Hormozy said,
say that quote again.
Being extraordinary is doing ordinary things an extraordinary amount of times.
100%. It's all habit building, repetition. I don't want to get on an NBA tangent here, but
again,
if I say too much about the NBA, Christian and I might devolve into a 30-minute discussion.
It's happened before.
Yeah, it has happened before.
Shout out to bonus NBA playoffs at Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, to the true fans who actually listen to that. Appreciate you guys. But when you do look at a professional sport like the NBA, and what separates the people who made it to the professional level from the people who are talked about all the time, like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, it's not that they had a 60-point game. It's that they had these incredible stats over and over and over, day after day after day when they're playing the game. And sales is exactly the same way. Whether you're doing the sales yourself, you're an independent agent, whether you're an agency owner, whether you're an IMO, FMO owner, it's still all that same concept that it's not having one great month. It's not having one great AEP. It's that repetition over and over and over of that success, of those sales coming in. I think there's a night and day difference between an organization that primarily only operates during AEP and an organization that operates year round in the Medicare space. I think they are typically a lot more educated about all things Medicare. I think they can service their clients a lot better. I also think that their sales are exponentially increasing, and a lot of that could be even just from something as simple as referrals or cross sales. They call you in June and they say, I really need a dental policy. Are you going to pick up the phone or are you out of town? So I think there's so much that I love that quote from Alex because I think about that all the time. Here's another question I had for you too on the topic. Is there bad information being distributed from large organizations or individuals who are maybe telling agents or giving agents the idea that, hey, you know what, guys, AEP, just work AEP, and then we can, maybe you put some time in during OEP, but you really don't need to work. Like, is that being pitched, do you feel like, by certain individuals and organizations?
Yes, 100%. There are people in the business that sell the dream. And they get it to get as many people in as possible. It's like, to me, it's the same thing as a guy that's selling an online course. And he's like, you buy my online course, you can have $100 million in a tiger like I do. And then there's like a short disclaimer. It says, purchase of the course is based on results and does not promise $100 million nor a pet tiger.
Right.
But in the video, is with the tiger. He's like rubbing it down, rubbing it on the side. He's like, "You're such a good boy." The tiger's like, like it's kind of like that. It's really just a sales funnel, like a lot of things. They're trying to get as many people into the sales funnel as possible. Their salesmanship. I believe there's also a lot of people in this space, and people hate it when I talk about this. People get so pissed off at me when I say this.
I love it.
But I'm going to say it anyway.
Say it.
There's a lot of people in our space that teach that have not done. And I just don't understand how you think anybody can teach you how to build a business or a book of business that's never built a book of business. Right? Like, I don't get it. It baffles and confuses me. And you get information a lot of times from those kind of people as well. You get this crazy, horrible, shitty information. And it's not that they're like purposely leading you down the wrong path. It's that they don't know what to tell you because they've never done it. It's basically like me training Glen on how to run a marathon. I've never ran a marathon. So Glen's shin is going to pop out of his leg,
Is this normal?
Of the way in.
Is this normal, Christian?
I'm gonna be like, yeah, it happened.
Keep going.
It's what's supposed to happen. Go,
keep running 20 more miles.
But it's true.
Great analogy.
And a lot of these people, by their own admission, haven't written a lot of business. Like if someone's publicly posted that says, I've never built a book of business and I only write 2 or 3 applications a year, why did you follow them? Like, I'm not running it. I'm not writing business anymore. I did for many years. If I'm out producing them at their height today, what the fuck, like that shouldn't be happening because I don't write anymore. But in my prime, I wrote plenty. But that to me is the biggest problem. People get so upset when I say that. They get so mad because they're like, well, my upline never wrote business. I'm like,
there's a few names that come to mind when you say that. There's a few bigger names. It's wild to see some of these larger organizations that have a leader that they've never even been there before.
Yeah.
Trying to teach others. And
those who can't teach.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
Godspeed to those who are taking that advice. I mean, I kind of love and hate that saying because I do think there are people like yourself who, shout out to Six Figure Medicare Agent University, absolute wealth of knowledge you teach. And it's not that you can't write, you can, and you have, but there's definitely a lot of individuals who fail out and they are like, I'm just going to create a course or I'm just going to start recruiting agents. I can't sell insurance. I couldn't figure it out. I'm just going to start recruiting and they'll sell the insurance and I'll just be at the top, earning all the residuals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's two categories of people that teach out in front, and I think it's up to the agents to be able to decipher who's who. Like, who do you put in each camp? Who do you put in each camp?
Right.
And I think you can take everybody and put them in one camp. I don't think there's any exceptions. Someone's going to throw an exception at me, but I don't think there's any exceptions. There's 2 camps. There's somebody that builds their business is recruiting and selling courses and things like that, and they've never built a book of business that could pay their bills. Never done it. Then there's a person that's done it for years. Their business is established. their business is built on the back of their own book, like my business, for example. Yep. And they've grown into that. And now they want to share what they've learned through their 10,000 hours of experience with others. Right. So like, and there's a lot of people that come to mind that go into both camps. I cannot publicly call people out these days. Just not, I don't need that in my life anymore. But you can take anybody and put them in one of two categories.
I'd say 99% should fit into one of those two categories for sure.
Yeah.
Generally. Yeah, there might be some who kind of fall in between, but I think most people are going to fit into one of two categories for sure. So
I love people that teach. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I love people that teach, that have been in the trenches, that have done it successfully. You're a great example of that, right? Like, you are so good at what you do because you were an agent for years before that. You've sat at kitchen tables, you've written policies, you've made money, you've provided for your family by writing policies.
100%.
Your service works. I think this is a great transition too into another topic that I know we want to touch on, but your service works so well because you were the customer before anybody else. You were the customer of your own service, and it helped you produce more and write more business.
Yeah. I attest our longevity and success to that. I think there's a million marketing companies out there, a million lead generation companies. And I think the reason we've done as well as we have over the years is because an insurance agent is helping generate leads and marketing for insurance agents. I get it, you guys. Like you said, I mean, I've sat at the tables, I've written the policies. I did it for years. It was my only source of income. I know the pain points. And I want to help you guys be successful, right? So this was a great transition. And what you cut me off from saying was, the title is Summer Slump. So we kind of talked about what the summer slump is, why we think it's happening. I want to transition into, how do you avoid the slump? Mm-hmm. What can keep you out of the summer slump right now? What can keep you selling, being profitable, issuing policies? Where does that success come from? We talked about how there are plenty, the big individuals in the space, the ones that are going to be speaking at the conference next week, they did not take all summer off every summer. Maybe they can now. Maybe they have the ability to. The funny part is I think most successful people are like yourself. Is I think once you get to that point where you can, you're so anxious about taking that time. And I feel the same way. I'm the worst person to go on vacation with. My wife just reamed me. We were just out of town, a week or two ago, and I only took a couple days off, but it's so hard to pull yourself mentally out sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm probably the worst person to go on vacation with, honestly, but
we should go on vacation together and drive each other crazy.
It would turn into a work fit. We'd end up remotely working. That's what it would turn into. Oh my gosh. But so how do you avoid it? How do you stay out of the slump? What are your thoughts? What can an agent do? If an agent's watching this right now, what's some actionable advice that you could give them?
I think no matter how hard it is, you see everybody outside playing in the sun. Go to work every day. That's the first thing. That's the easiest thing you can do. Just keep going to work. Don't take super long vacations or anything like that. And really, it's not even people taking long vacations. People staying home and, barbecuing and things like that. That's all great. But like, work time into work. You don't have to work as much as you do during AEP, but fit time into work. That's number one. Number two, you guys need a consistent lead flow, which is something we need to talk about on this live stream. Like, you guys need a consistent lead flow. I don't think there's any better lead flow you can get than a really good caller to call and find interested prospects for you to help you write more business. And so those would be my two. I want to know if you have anything to add to that, but I think those are the biggest things.
Absolutely. So one thing that I used to do, again, as an agent, you guys, I used to buy into this excuse mentality that not only that all the prospects aren't going to answer their phones because they're at the beach, they're out, outside, they're taking vacations, they're camping, they're not going to be home, they're not answering the phone, they don't want to buy insurance. you have to don't buy into any of those excuses. That's not true at all. There's plenty of insurance transactions that are happening right now, today, every day this summer, every day this month. So don't do that. Don't talk yourself out of trying to sell, trying to get on the phone and dial, because that's bullshit. Secondly, absolute lead flow is everything. It's just like cash flow. Cash flow is the life of a business. Lead flow is the life and blood of an insurance agent. And any good sales company is going to have great, consistent lead flow. I'm absolutely biased when it comes to call verified leads, but I just feel like from all of the different options out there, whether you want a live transfer, an appointment setter, or just something where you know it's a legitimate name and number and someone that's actually interested, I love having a call vetted lead. I feel like that gives agents a huge leg up. Another thing I want to touch on right now, you guys, is the Spanish speaking market, which I have been blown away by so far. We're early in this space. We're about a month in. But what I can tell you, the niches are in the riches. I think we've all heard that term before. When that person on the phone, I've listened to a lot of these Spanish, and I muy poquito español. I speak very little Spanish myself, but when I'm on the phone, when I'm listening to these phone calls that are happening, as soon as our caller starts to speak Spanish, and that person on the other end is, we're targeting likely Spanish-speaking households utilizing our publishing network. So we're taking someone from Mexico who is fluent in Spanish. They're bilingual. They can speak English or Spanish. And we're targeting likely Spanish-speaking households. And as soon as they start speaking Spanish to each other, it's like this instant rapport building connection that you can't possibly experience speaking English back and forth. Like,
Yeah,
it's not the same. It's this cultural bond. It's hard to even really put into words. If you speak Spanish, you have such a leg up in this market, you guys. It's crazy. The huge advantage. So I couldn't be more excited about that. Another thing that we're offering right now at Lead Heroes, specifically, I'll mention this too. We have our summer sales promotion going on right now. $19 final expense and Medicare supplement leads.
boom.
For a minimum of 30 leads. That's all you have to purchase. So essentially $600 gets you 30 leads. Huge opportunity right now to take advantage, sell Medicare supplements, sell final expense, sell ancillary products. You don't have, there's SEPs. If Medicare Advantage comes up on these leads and it ends up being what needs to happen, there's plenty of SEPs going on. Waiting for AEP is such a bullshit excuse. You don't have to wait till AEP to make sales. Don't fall into that slump, you guys. It's really easy. It's a mindset. It's a work ethic, a productivity, like Christian was just saying, work time into work. You have time to do it. You don't have to work 10, 12 hours a day, but you can easily put 4 to 6 hours in on the phone.
Love it. Love it. And I think it's such a unique value proposition that you guys have right now with Spanish speaking callers available. That's something I've seen people comment on my videos where we discuss your, lead heroes and hire heroes about a desire to have Spanish speaking callers. And now that it's available, huge. I think it's game changing for anybody that's bilingual that targets that kind of demographic. I highly, highly recommend you guys give it a try. People are all, I'm just going to answer this because people are going to ask me, Christian, have you tried this? Christian, don't speak Espanol. So I have not. It would not do me any good. But
no habla español.
Yeah, I couldn't even say that right. Like no speaker. I don't speak Spanish at all. I literally got an F- in Spanish. However, my grade showed as an A. Story for another day. So in the eyes of the state, Christian got an A in Spanish class, but no, I don't.
It's not how you start; it's how you finish, right?
Yes. But no, I'm not using it just because of that reason. But if I did, and there are some bilingual agents that we have in our organization, it's something that I'll be recommending to them. I think it's a great value proposition for you guys.
And Christian, while Christian can't speak to the veracity or the success of the Spanish leads, he can speak to the success of the English-speaking leads.
Oh, yes.
which
Oh,
he
yes.
has personally worked. His agents and at his agency have worked. So it's really the same process, you guys. It just took us a lot of time to find a solid source of callers that speak Spanish. We also, and another thing I wanted to mention too, because this is kind of a thing that has come up. The first question we get when someone inquires about Spanish speaking callers is, well, where are they located? Because obviously there's a huge cultural and even a language difference, right? Dialect difference. If I hired someone that's based out of South America, which I very potentially could have done, that's going to be a very different Spanish speaking conversation between someone from Mexico calling into the United States. So we strategically chose Mexico, even though it does cost us more to hire based out of Mexico. We found that, again, that conversation, that connection, it's stronger and faster. That rapport gets built so much quicker because having these bilingual speakers, most of these people that we've hired, you guys, they actually lived in the United States for many years. That's how they became bilingual. So they were maybe born in the United States. They had family in Mexico. They chose to go back. Some of them, unfortunately, were deported. They weren't allowed to stay in America anymore, but they lived here for a long time. So huge opportunity to take advantage of, again, just really high level workers that need, again, they're looking for opportunities, and the Spanish speaking market is ripe. It really is. Shout out to the Invictus conference in July, you guys. That's our buddies Tony, Merwin, and Mr. Eric Fierro, and a group of other Spanish speaking agents. They're doing a huge conference. It seems like it's becoming more and more of a thing, and I hope it does. I hope we start seeing more Spanish speaking agents in the senior market to help Spanish speaking beneficiaries, right? They need the help.
Real quickly, I know we're running out of time here, but I wanted to take a minute and read some comments.
Yeah, please do
on this.
And guys, comment below if you have any questions about anything that we talked about. Summer slump, Spanish speaking leads, the promotion I talked about on MedSup, final expense leads, anything. Drop a comment below this video, live or replay. We'll get back to you.
Okay, so first comment, I'm not going to read them all, but the first comment I'm going to read is, I take the time off because the companies do and I can't call them. The doctors are closed for prospecting. Some holidays are totally annoying. Totally agree, by the way. When I was first starting out building my business, and I think I don't think you're just starting out for the person that commented that, but for anybody that is, I hated like Memorial Day and Labor Day and all these holidays. I didn't hate them because I think they're necessary, real holidays, but like on holidays that landed on Mondays and things like that, I would come into work and I'd find things to do. I'd call leads, I'd prospect, that kind of thing. But like, there's so many people I couldn't talk to or things I couldn't do, drove me absolutely nuts. I think my first 7-8 years in my career, I came in for those holidays.
So really fast, let's touch on that because I got into a little bit of a debate this Memorial Day, actually, in one of the Facebook groups. The question that someone posed was like, should I make calls on Memorial Day?
How did I miss this?
Well, I was in, I think you may have been thrown out of this group. Are you in the soup still or no?
Nope.
So this did come up in the soup, but that was the question. Should I make calls? Yeah. Should I make calls to leads? Should I try to make sales? And I did engage a little bit in this post because historically, what I can tell you guys from the call center side, just like Saturdays are great, a lot of times making calls on holidays, it's actually above average answer rate. And why is that? People aren't working. People are at home. Not everybody has stuff going on holidays. A lot of times people are just sitting at home doing nothing because they can. So again, I personally believe that there is an excuse mindset that agents buy into where they think it's Memorial Day. Nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to buy insurance. Nobody wants to set an appointment with me for this week. The reality is, statistically, I think objectively, you can actually look at the call data, and I know I can internally, and I can tell you that typically Memorial Day or other similar holidays that aren't major holidays, you'll actually get an above average answer rate.
Yeah. I would say like too, when I was new in my career, I needed to make sales, like
Right.
to pay my bills, right? Like,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I had urgency. So I would go in on Memorial Day, Labor Day. Would I get somebody that's like, "Hey, don't you know what day it is?" Like, usually I'd be like, "No, I have no idea. It's Monday." You know? And
Monday,
so
what do you want?
I'd either get somebody get more mad at me, or they'd think it was funny. They'd be like, "You're hilarious." I'm like, "I know." But
I know.
but no, like, I made a lot of sales on days I wasn't supposed to go into work when I needed to in a time of desperation.
Hit us with another one.
Jamie Hindley said, "Summer slump. I'm busier than ever." That's the comment I want to see. That's great.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Let's go.
Andrew Lee, Glen, Ray Charles, Shelton.
Andrew, I was trying to be summer personified here. This wasn't, I'm not so cool that I actually wear sunglasses indoors.
Andrew Tate.
I'm just trying to look cool. Not actually cool. There's a difference.
Another comment said, "Hard to leave, hard to come back always." Yeah, it kind of like, it's almost like it jerks you in and out of like this, work mode versus play mode. It's hard to turn it on, turn it off.
That's a great point. Comment.
Andrew said he might join in on our MBA conversation if that happens. So there you go.
Offline, Andrew.
We're gonna have to make that happen.
Separate video.
No summer slump here. Right med sups. Boom. Our good friend, Mr. Eric Fiaro. Eric Fiaro. What kind of accent is that? I have no idea.
Was he was the one that said the med sup comment?
No, that was someone else. But Eric said Christian should learn Espanol. Eric, I need you to teach me. And we can live stream, be like Spanish lessons with Christian Brindle. Make it as like a show. Reality TV show.
Imagine how cool it would be though if you learned enough. You don't have to be fluent, but what if you just learned enough Spanish that you could sell like a med sup in Spanish? Like you just learned and the funny part is I'm listening to these Spanish speaking phone calls and it's like, they're like Medicare, no, like because there's no Spanish word for Medicare, right? I mean, that's like just an American pronoun, right? So it's like you'll just hear them go. It's like Spanish, Medicare, and you just hear Medicare come up over and over. I think you could do it. I think you could learn enough Spanish to sell a med sup.
Let's roll, Eric. Hit me up. Let's make this happen.
What if Eric started a group where he just taught agents how to speak Spanish? That would be awesome. I'm in.
Another comment I really loved: cab drivers make more in the rain. Boom.
Ooh,
100%.
I love that.
100%.
Sounds like was that Tony? That sounds like something Tony Merwin would
I can't see it. I can't see who it is. It just, some of the people I see their names. Like if someone has a StreamYard account, I can see who it is. If they don't, it just says user. Our apps were up 24% year over year in the month of May. Direct mail campaigns need to run all year round. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I would take it a step farther. I would say any type of really good marketing is going to perform a much better if it's consistently ran all year round.
100.
So I think that's a great point.
$1,000,000%. That's an amazing point to make. You could talk about Facebook ads, right? As an example, we've all had Facebook campaigns where it was crushing and then you turn it off and then you turn it back on and the ad like never performs the same ever again, right?
I had one this year. We were getting $7.50 a lead.
You turned it off.
And I'm like, yeah, let's go, bro. And then I turned it off.
It never works the same once you turn it back on.
But the thing is, like when you turn it on and off, it interrupts Facebook gathering the data. So like what we usually do that usually works is we'll duplicate the ad and run a completely new campaign, but it's exactly the same, but we're not like starting it off where it left off, we're starting over. Yeah. And usually that helps a little bit, but like we did that in an ad this year and it went from like $7.50, exact same ad, to like 33 a lead.
But I've had the same type of thing happen where you think I've been using the same copy, the same picture, the same video, and you think it's just going to come right back how it was. And and again, I'll mention on the caller side too, some of you guys think if you're working with the call center like us, when you come back later, you might end up with different callers, right? So if you get really comfortable with a caller or a group of callers that are generating your leads for you and turning that off, and then you get different callers, and then maybe the feng shui is a little different. And there's kind of a learning curve. You're coming back into it. Any great marketing program of any kind, I could make the argument that you should try to be as consistent as possible. I think it's totally normal to increase and decrease the spend, the dollar amount.
Yes.
Coming into AEP, sure, everyone's cranking that way up, right? And coming into December, it's probably going way down. But regardless, you don't ever want to shut the valve off. That's when things get dangerous.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Love that.
I want to be respectful of your time. Do you have any final thoughts on this topic? And also, where can people get information on that crazy freaking summer sale? We might buy some ourselves on that. And also the Spanish speaking callers. Where can people get some info?
Absolutely. Guys, feel free. You can, first of all, feel free to DM me right here on Facebook. Just shoot me a message. All the information is available at leadheroes.com, LEADHEROES.com. I have, and I just want to address this really fast too, because I have gotten some messages or comments about it. We are strategically not sharing links on Facebook anymore. Facebook, the algorithm absolutely hates links. Every time I've tried to share a link publicly, like, hey guys, we're doing this awesome sale, go to Lead Heroes. Facebook basically takes that post and just like crams it straight into the trash can. So
shadow ban.
Yeah, shadow ban. So I'm not being lazy or stupid by not including the link. It's strategically being done. Go to leadheroes.com if you want to see what's going on with the Spanish-speaking leads, if you want to take advantage of this huge discount. By the way, those $19 leads, you can get in English or Spanish right now. We are literally going bilingual. So huge deal on those fixed cost leads. You can also do the custom calling, the appointment setting, the live transfers with Spanish speaking as well. Leadheroes.com, or just shoot me a DM. But yeah, final thoughts, you guys. Don't fall into the trap. I loved some of the comments we got. We're busier than ever. Our app count is up right now. Don't shut off your marketing spend just because you're coming into summer. Like, that's the stuff that I absolutely love to see. That gives me hope that there are agents out there that are going to keep working. Don't fall into the slump. Don't fall into the mindset that nobody wants insurance. I shouldn't be selling right now. I'll just wait till AEP, and you'll be golden if you just keep things rocking. What do you think, Christian? Final thoughts.
I love it. I love it. I would say, yeah, I piggyback on everything that Glenn said. I would say me getting to where I am right now, for me to basically, I'm not taking next week off. I'm just not I'm not going to be here much because we have this little thing called the Six Figure Medicare Agent Summit that I'm going to be at, but I'm not going to be here. Right. So and then following up that, I'm not going to be here for 2 weeks because of a vacation. I can do that. A lot of you can't, So understand that. Understand that before you knew who I was slaving away on a lot of these holidays. I really was. Like,
self-awareness. You got to have the self-awareness to know. Christian has it. Christian knows what he can and can't do.
Yeah, we're testing that with 2 weeks off, but we'll see.
I love it, dude.
Get some leads while they're discounted, guys.
Yes.
Get some freaking leads, the lifeblood of your business. If you guys have any questions, reach out to Glen. Glen is a freaking telemarketing guru, and get you guys hooked up with some leads and get some Spanish speaking callers. If you're bilingual.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Finish out strong. For those of you that are going to be in Salt Lake City next week, we'll see you soon.
See you at the summit.
Later, guys.